I was 24 when I moved into the small red brick house I inherited from my grandfather in suburban Rochester, New York. It was not a luxurious place. It had a bedroom, a kitchen, a living room, a laundry room, and a small attic that was kind of sinister. But it was mine. My parents, Howard and Diane, lived about 2 miles away in the same neighborhood. I didn't really like the idea of living alone, but I missed having more privacy to have my own space. But I confess that sometimes I hated the solitude of that house. The floor was mostly made of wood, and sometimes in the silence of the night they creaked as if someone was always walking in the empty rooms, even when I was the only one there. Every Friday, my group of friends, there were 7 in total, would gather at someone's house to play some game, eat pizza and drink until they lost count. That week it was my turn to receive the people. I remember Tyler brought 2 cases of beer. Vince arrived with other drinks. We ordered pizza and we spent the night between games and funny work stories. We stayed late, but around 2 o'clock in the morning, 5 of them left by Uber only. Tyler and Darren, who were cousins, decided to stay because they came by car and didn't want to take Uber and leave the car there. Tyler, with his usual gangly manner, fell heavily on the sofa in the living room and in minutes was already snoring, like a blown engine. Darren, more discreet, settled on the inflatable mattress I left on the floor for him. I locked my bedroom door, a habit I'd had since I was a child, and blacked out almost instantly, exhausted from the night. The first noise came around 3 a.m., a thin, almost musical creak that seemed to come from the attic above my room. I opened an eye in the dark, listening attentively. The old house always made these noises, but this one was different. More deliberate, as if someone were treading cautiously on the aged planks. My hand twitched on the duvet when I heard the unmistakable sound, my door handle being tested. A metallic click, followed by a slight spin. My heart raced, but soon came the rational thought, it must be Tyler or Darren looking for the bathroom. The house had only one bathroom at the end of the hallway, and those who did not know the place could be confused. The steps continued, now further away. I heard the floor groan near the stairs leading to the ground floor, then a dull thud, as if something had been dragged on the ground. I was tense, waiting for some call or voice, but only silence came. If it was something serious, they would scream, I thought, turning sideways on the bed. Fatigue got the better of me, and I fell asleep again, promising myself that I'd ask them, both for breakfast, what they were doing in the middle of the night. When I woke up to the sunlight streaming in through the blinds, I found Darren in the kitchen brewing coffee. "Dude, what noise did you and Tyler make at dawn?" I asked, rubbing my eyes. He looked at me confused. "Noise? I woke up just now, and Tyler's out there smoking. We both slept like rocks." Breakfast was strangely tense. As I ate my cereal, I watched Tyler and Darren talking normally, with no sign that they had done or heard anything last night. Tyler, his eyes still swollen with sleep, complained of a hangover as he lit another cigarette on the porch. Darren washed the cups with a calmness that only he had. I decided to go up to the attic after they left. The access staircase was at the end of the corridor, hidden by a small door that always got stuck. When I finally managed to open it, the smell of mold and old dust invaded my nostrils. The only way to avoid going up in the dark was to take a flashlight. I had no idea what I would find up there because I had never been there. My foot found something strange on the 3rd step, a piece of dark, damp, dirty fabric, as if it had been used to clean something. I pushed him with my foot, not wanting to touch it, and continued climbing. When my head finally got past the level of the attic floor, a draft of icy air hit me in the face. Strange, considering that all the windows had been sealed for years. It was then that I saw it. In the far corner, where the dim light of the flashlight could barely reach, was a pile of objects. A half-empty water bottle, banana peels, and, it made me gulp, an old blanket spread out on the floor, some cardboard boxes. My body froze when I noticed the footprints in the dust on the floor, leading from the makeshift bed to the vent opening on the roof, which was slightly open. My hands began to shake as I approached that corner of the attic. The dirty blanket had dark spots that looked like they were from moisture, but the acidic smell made me suspect it might be urine. The banana peels looked fresh, still a little, soft, as if they had been left there a few days ago. I went down the stairs so fast that I almost tripped, my heart beating as if it wanted to come out of my chest. I took my cell phone and called the police. Sometime later they came, looked, asked some questions, but they didn't have much to do. They said that if the noises came back, it was to call. I decided to lock the attic door with a big lock I had in the garage. That night I put a chair under my doorknob, something I had never done before. I slept in shock, waking up with every noise in the house. Around 3 a.m., the sound came again. Slow footsteps in the hallway, stopping in front of my room. This time, however, something new came, a deep, almost breathless sigh from the other side of the door. It was human, but at the same time strangely animal, as if the person was having difficulty breathing. I was paralyzed, unable to get out of bed. The next morning, I found dirty finger marks on my bedroom door. Someone had stood there, and worse, someone was inside my house. I stood in the hallway, staring at the locked attic door, completely confused. If I had locked that entrance and checked all the windows and doors in the house, how was that happening? My brain was trying to find a logical explanation, but I could only think of one frightening possibility. Someone was still managing to enter my house from somewhere I hadn't checked. That thought made me feel instantly nauseous, as if the ground was sinking beneath my feet. I looked in every corner of the house and found nothing. I decided I couldn't ignore it anymore. I grabbed my phone and called my dad, my hands shaking so hard I could barely hold the phone. My father answered, and as soon as he heard my trembling voice, he realized that something was wrong. "There's someone coming into the house at night, Dad. Someone who shouldn't be here," I said, trying to stay calm. But my words were broken. He didn't hesitate. "Stay there, don't touch anything, I'm going now." As I waited, I sat on the living room couch with a bat in my hands, my eyes sweeping every shadow, every corner, imagining movements where there was nothing. Time seemed not to pass, and every second alone in that silent house was an ordeal. When my father arrived about 20 minutes later, he brought a large, old lantern that he kept in the house. Together we searched every inch of the house again, and it was he who noticed something strange in the laundry area. One of the floorboards was slightly raised, as if it had been recently removed. When we pulled it out, it revealed a narrow opening that led to a gap under the house, a cramped space, dark and damp, but large enough for someone to hide. It was then that my father called the police without hesitation. The policemen arrived quickly, and when they illuminated that space with their flashlight, they found what I feared most: a thin man of short stature, huddled like a cornered animal. He wore shabby clothes and was dirty, with his nails full of dirt. The cops pulled him out and he couldn't resist. He just looked at me with a blank expression, as if I were a ghost. We found out later that he had been there for some time, going in and out of the loose board, hiding in the attic when I was at home, and returning to his hiding place when he thought he might be discovered. The police found a bottle of water, leftover food, and even some old clothes of mine that he used as a blanket. Even after they took him away, I couldn't feel safe in that house. Every noise made me jump. Every shadow seemed to move. I went to sleep with the light on and checked all the doors and windows 3 times before going to bed. After 2 weeks, I decided that I would no longer be able to live there. I sold the house for a little below the market just to get rid of it, and bought a small apartment on the 3rd floor of a building with no basement, no attic, no dark corners to hide intruders. To this day, years later, when I hear a strange noise at night, my body reacts before I even understand it. A chill runs down my spine, and for a moment, I'm back in that house, hearing footsteps in the hallway, feeling the purest fear I've ever experienced. Hit the like button and subscribe to the channel.